Welcome to the Royal Calcutta Turf Club for the Calcutta Races Winter Meeting Extra Day Friday 24th January 2025 race preview. Second day for our double header. The first race of the afternoon is the Abs Fabs handicap for horses weighed 1 to 26 to be run over a distance of about 1100 meters. First up, we got four runners which we are looking at. They ran in race number 69. We had Elios, who was racing in most part in the rear of the field in 10th spot, eventually finished on 12th of 14 runners. We had number 4 Indian Tiger, who was racing in front up with the pace and leading the pack until the last 200 meters, where Indian Tiger ran out of steam and eventually finished on 5th. We had number 6, which was Royal Rider. Royal Rider was also chasing Indian Tiger, but then eventually Royal Rider dropped back rapidly and eventually finished on 11th of 14 runners. And we had number 11, which is MSG Fantasy, who was racing in most part for this in 7th spot, then came up with a late dash, got into the place money, finished on 3rd, and it was trotting after the lame is MSG Fantasy, the mount of Yasha Dashbar. Number 2, Artemis Zelda. Artemis Zelda had a start in race number 22 in the current season, where Artemis Zelda went on a start to finish mission until the last 100 meters, where it was caught up by a couple of runners, and eventually Artemis Zelda finished on 3rd. The mount of Nikhil Naidu is Artemis Zelda. Three is Memphis. Memphis, the mount of Arbeba. 3 starts for Memphis after coming down from Western India, unplaced in 3 starts so far. Memphis went over 1200 meters in race number 21, finished on 5th. Race number 35 finished on 8th in race over 1400 meters. Last start was over 1100 meters, where Memphis ran in 7th spot first, while eventually finished on 10th of 12 runners. The winner was Eagles Flight. Number 5 is Lucretius. Lucretius, the mount of Kirtish Bhagat, has a start after a break in the monsoon season, did not have any runs. The start we are looking at from race number 48, where Lucretius was in 4th spot, then was brought down the center, eventually finished on 3rd of 7 runners. The winner here was Banksy. Lucretius is by 10th star out of Flamboyant Flame. We got number 7, Vince Angel. The start is from the monsoon season, where Vince Angel had a couple of starts. Better start was definitely this one. Earlier start in race number 14, Vince Angel finished on 7th. Over here, Vince Angel was the favorite, was leading the pack until the last 200 meters, where there was a late surge by Liban, and Vince Angel did the next best thing, finished on 2nd. Today, the mount of Mohammad Imran, Vince Angel is drawn 12 of 13. 8, Dubai King, who's had 4 starts in the current season. There's a previous season we are looking at, where Dubai King had a win in race number 97, then a couple of placed efforts. Last start, Dubai King was in race number 65, where after the race it was observed that Dubai King was bleeding from the nostrils and has been given a long break, missed the monsoon season, is having a start after a long time. Number 9 is Happy Morning, who's had 5 starts. Definitely an eye-catching start was in race number 54, where Happy Morning finished on 2nd over 1200 meters to Impressive Annie, who has subsequently won again. And the run we are looking at, this was over 2000 meters in race number 60, where Impressive Annie Moose Walls travelled in 5th spot and stayed on in 5th. The winner there was Presence. Number 10 is My Way or Highway. Has had 1 start after coming down from southern India, came down from Hyderabad. The start is from race number 33, where My Way or Highway raced in the rear of the field and eventually finished on 11th of 12 runners. The winner here was Emperor Shuka. Finally, we got number 12 is Tamar. Tamar has had a couple of starts. This is from the monsoon season, where Tamar had a run in race number 8, finished on 8th of 10 runners. In race number 40, the one we are looking at, Tamar went over 1100 meters, and after being in a forward position for most while, eventually finished on 5th of 9 runners. The winner here was Liban. Number 13 is Lahina, earlier known as Fair Council, who has had couple of starts in this season in race number 2, which was on the monsoon track, finished on 5th. Race number 39 on the winter track, Lahina was racing in 6th spot, made up a placing in the late part of the race and eventually finished on 5th of 7 runners. The winner here was Honey Cake. We move on to the second race of the afternoon, the Angelo Handicap for horses rated 41 to 66, rated 21 to 46, eligible to be run over a distance of about 2,000 meters, to be ridden by jockeys of Indian nationality. The first runner we are looking at is Ivanhoe, who's had a couple of starts in the season. The first start it had on the monsoon track, that was in race number 1, finished on 3rd over 1600 meters. The last start, which was on the winter track in race number 49, Ivanhoe was racing in 9th spot, made some late gains, eventually finished on 6th of 13 runners. The winner here was Salome, Ivanhoe the mount of Mohammad Imran. Number 2 is Felix, who's had a couple of starts in the season. Both times has finished on 4th. In race number 49, Felix was travelling in 5th spot until the home turn, then made up a placing and eventually finished on 4th. The same can be said about race number 54, where Felix went over 2,000 meters, again was in 5th spot at the turn, then made up a placing and eventually finished on 4th. The winner here was Champagne Supernova. Number 3 is Celtic Harlequin. Celtic Harlequin, who's had 3 starts, started the season with a win in race number 5, that was on the monsoon track. Subsequently 2 starts on the winter track, a 4th place effort in race number 46 over 1200 meters. Last start went on a start to finish mission, as you can see in the black jacket with the orange star, then started to back paddle, eventually finished on 6th of 10 runners. The winner here was Sativur. Next up we got number 5 is Rimmel. We also had Multi-Starrer. This is from race number 74, where Multi-Starrer, who had a win in race number 21. Over here, Multi-Starrer raced in 4th spot most while and eventually finished on 4th, a little wide of the track. Rimmel, who's had 4 starts in the season. Better start was in race number 25, where Rimmel finished on 3rd. Since then, 3 unplaced effort, including this one, where Rimmel was slow out of the gates, was in 8th spot, made up a placing and eventually finished on 7th. The winner here was Kasha. 6 is Lucky 9. Lucky 9 has had 3 starts in the season, and last start Lucky 9 was trotting lame after the race, took the turn in 8th spot, then dropped back, eventually finished on 12th of 14 runners. The winner here was Into the Storm. Lucky 9 today, the mount of R. Manish. We move on to the third race of the afternoon, the Credit Squeeze Handicap for horses rated 21 to 46, rated 1 to 26, eligible to be run over a distance of about 1600 meters, to be ridden by jockeys of Indian nationality. The first runner we're looking at is She's Our Star. Couple of stars for She's Our Star in race number 3, which was run on the monsoon track, finished on 2nd to Sensational. The start we're looking at is from the winter track on race number 73, where She's a Star ran in a forward position until the last 200 meters, where it started to drop back, eventually finished on 2nd last of 10 runners. The winner here was Liban, She's a Star, the mount of Shahzad Khan. We got 3 runners which took on each other. This is from race number 71. We had Emperor Shuka. Emperor Shuka was winner in an earlier start and since then has had 2 back-to-back second place effort. This time Emperor Sugar was in 4th spot, got a gap late into the day and eventually came out and finished on 2nd. We had number 5, which is Tusa. Tusa has had 3 starts in the season, all unplaced in 3 starts. And we had number 6, which is Super Rakiga. Super Rakiga has had 4 starts in the season. The best start was perhaps in race number 50, where Super Rakiga finished on 4th of 10 runners. So we got 2 runners, 3 Oh My Sweetheart, 9 Monarchy. Oh My Sweetheart, who was a winner in an earlier start in race number 16 over here. Oh My Sweetheart was tad slow into stride, took the turn in 5th spot, then came out and saved place money, finished on 3rd. Number 9, which is Monarchy. Monarchy has had 5 starts in this season. Best start was perhaps in race number 43, where Monarchy finished on 3rd of 10 runners behind Eagle's Flight. Over here, Monarchy, after racing in 8th spot, finished on 7th, and it was observed after the race that Monarchy was trotting lame. 4 is Tender Heart. Tender Heart has had a few starts in this season and eye-catching starts in the beginning of the season where Tender Heart finished on 4th. Since then, she's had 4 unplaced efforts, including this one, which is in race number 59 where Tender Heart was in 13th spot. Made some late headway but then finished on 9th of 14 runners. The winner here was Only Dreams. We got 7 is No Worry. No Worry has had 4 starts in this season, couple of place efforts earlier part of the season, and then in this race, race number 61, No Worry was in 8th spot as the heads turned for home, then came with late run and eventually got into 2nd spot behind Eagle's Flight, who won the race by almost 2 1/4 lengths, and No Worry was ridden by Imran Chisti, who keeps the ride again today. Number 8 is Annette. Annette came down from southern India, had a start in race number 72 where she was racing in 8th spot, then weaved a passage towards the inside and eventually came out with a very late dash and got into the place money, finished on 3rd of 14 runners. The winner here was Sensational. Number 10 is Kasha Laika, who had earlier known as Avon, had a start in race number 12, the one we are looking at, where Kasha Laika went on a start to finish mission, but into the last 200 meters decided to run out of steam and eventually finished on 4th. Was scheduled to start, but then there was no suitable jockey found, so was withdrawn on that ground. We move on to the 4th race of the day, the Jayavant Handicap. 4 horses rate 61 to 86, rate 41 to 66, eligible to be run over a distance of about 1600 meters. First runner we are looking at is Dandi Satyagraha, who's had a few starts in the season, had a 4th place effort in race number 1, again 4th in race number 11, finished on 5th after having a slow start in race number 24, again finished on 6th in race number 28 after being slowly out. Last start was in 4th spot, stayed on in 4th, and after the race it was observed that Dandi Satyagraha was bleeding from the nostrils. Today the mount of Vinay Jaswal is Dandi Satyagraha, who's by Cavalier out of Salt. Number 2, Great Guns. What a revelation Great Guns was. Came down from Hyderabad. It looked like would need this run, but was languishing in the tail end of the field until the last 200 meters, where really sprouted wings and came between runners and sliced the field through and won eventually by about 3 parts of a length, beating a very classy field. Great Guns, again the mount of R. Bhaibab today from Yashnaridu. 4 is Dragon's Gold. Dragon's Gold started the season with a win on the monsoon track. Since then has a placed effort in race number 51, where went over 1600 meters, finished on 3rd to Dubai Princess. The race number 63, the one we are looking at, went over 1400 meters, was in 4th spot, then went backward, eventually finished on 9th of 11 runners. The winner here was Raffaello. 5 Amber Knight. Amber Knight, this is from the previous season where Amber Knight won 3 races on the trot. Then couple of times Amber Knight was slowly out of the gates. That was in race number 137 where he finished on 6th. Race number 161, the one we are looking at, Amber Knight was slowly away, was in 5th spot, then made up a placing, eventually finished on 4th. Running after a long break, the mount of S. Suckling is Amber Knight. 6 is Main Street. Main Street, winner of an earlier start in race number 34, got the measure of Champagne Supernova over 2000 meters, and perhaps the notable runner from the Oaks, where Main Street was in 6th spot, was brought wide of the track and was really one of the fastest finishing horses into the last 100 meters, finished on 3rd. Main Street, the mount of Yashnaridu. Main Street is by Smuggler's Cove out of Mykonos. 7 is Sativur. Sativur was knocking on the doors, had a win in an earlier start in the monsoon season, then ran the derby there. Then in this season, after having a long preparation, Sativur obliged by winning, and race number 64 went over 1600 meters, eventually had 5 lengths to spare behind a smart type Norwegian Wood in 2nd. Sativur, again the mount of Imran Chisti. We move on to the 5th and featured race of the year from the Hyderabad Race Club Cup. 4 horses rated 81 and above, rated 61 to 86, eligible to be run over a distance of about 1400 meters. First up, we are looking at King's Retreat, who has had 4 stars, 3 stars, has finished on 3rd. Then in last start, King's Retreat was traveling in 6th spot, did not really accelerate the way we have come to know King's Retreat to do, and eventually finished on 6th. Three runners from race number 29. We had Buckley, who was an earlier start winner in race number 11. Over here, Buckley was racing in 3rd spot, came up with a late dash, eventually finished on 2nd. 4 Watch My Stride, who was racing in 4th spot, eventually finished on 4th. And we had 10, which is White Roses. White Roses was racing in 3rd spot, then came up with a run towards the inside passage and eventually got into the place money, finished on 3rd. The winner here was Blackstone. 3 runners again. This is from race number 65. We had Stockbridge, who was racing in 5th spot, eventually finished on 5th. We had Reed Audible, who was racing in 6th spot, then dropped back, eventually finished on 7th. Reed Audible was a little slowly into stride also. Number 8 was Tommy Ocean. Tommy Ocean was racing in a forward position until the last 200 meters, where he fell back and eventually finished on 6th. The winner was Ramiel. This was over 2,200 meters. Couple of runners, Flying Scotsman and Destroyer. This is from race number 57, where Destroyer, as he likes to do, went on a start to finish mission, then backed up into the last 250 meters, finished on 6th. Perhaps needed this run. And Flying Scotsman, who generally runs from the rear of the field, was in 4th spot. When asked for an effort, dropped back a placing and eventually finished on 5th of 6 runners. The winner here was Black Eagle. Finally, we got number 9 is Global Influence, who is second in the 2000 Guineas to Castile, who has gone on to win the Derby. And Global Influence last start was in 2nd spot when came up with a run and looked good for a while, but there was a late surge by Raffaello. Perhaps Global Influence was caught off guard and eventually finished on 2nd by almost length and a half. Global Influence today the mount of S. Saclane. We move on to the 6th and last race of the day, the Amur Handicap. 4 horses rate 41 to 66, rate 21 to 46, eligible to be ridden by jockeys of Indian nationality, to be run over a distance of about 1100 meters. First, we got 4 runners. This is from race number 73. We had Superlative, who was racing in 9th spot, came up with a very late dash, eventually got into the place money, finished on 3rd. We had K-Star, who was racing in a prominent position until the last 250 meters, where started to backpedal, eventually finished on 8th. We had number 5, which is Extravagant Star, who was winner of an earlier start in race number 20. Over here, Extravagant Star was slow into stride and eventually finished on 4th. And finally, we had number 10, which is Zuccardi. Zuccardi raced in 5th spot for most while, then dropped back, eventually finished on 10th of 10 runners. The winner was Liban. Couple of runners. This is from race number 78, where Sea of Charm was racing in 6th spot. When asked for an effort, dropped back a placing, eventually finished on 7th. And number 8 is Matangi. Matangi was winner of an earlier start in race number 62. Over here, Matangi really made a beeline for the winning post, but was caught very late into the day by the closest possible margin of a nose, finished on 2nd. Number 4, Garnet. Garnet has had a start after coming down from Hyderabad. The start was in race number 66 on the monsoon track, where Garnet went on a start to finish mission, but then into the last 300 meters started to really backpedal, eventually finished on last of 12 runners. And after the race, it was observed that Garnet had burst a blood vessel. Six is Bundle of Charm, who's had 3 starts. The better start was in race number 8, where Bundle of Charm finished on 3rd to all-time legend. The start we are looking at from race number 74, where Bundle of Charm was in 5th spot under the home turn, then started to drop back when asked for an effort, eventually finished on last of 8 runners. The winner here was Kasha. Bundle of Charm, the mount of Vinay Jaswal today. Finally, we got number 9 as Dubai Star, who's had 3 stars in the season. Better start was in race number 25. The first start Dubai Star had finished on foot to Norwegian Wood. Since then, a couple of unplaced effort, and in the last race after the race, it was noticed that Dubai Star was trotting lame. This was in race number 67, the one we are looking at, where Dubai Star raced in 7th spot for most while, eventually finished on 5th of 8 runners. The winner was Liban. So that's the lineup for the day. Well, thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. See you at the races. Best of luck.